Hey, good evening, everybody, and welcome to Farmers Travels. And as you can see, I have our local jester. Sorry, seems like I've got a bit of a hiccup there, and local comedian Joe Emilio. Although he's not local, he is from the United States and then immigrated to Egypt, and now he has immigrated back into South Africa. And now he is our property. Unfortunately, sorry for you too, Joe. Um, uh, Before we start tonight's live stream and before we get stuck into digging into the ancients and excavation of the old tombs up in the north of Africa, uh, I'm going to ask Joe to introduce himself and also tell us where we can find him, not where his physical address, but where we can find him on YouTube for those who tune in later. And welcome to everybody on the live stream. Hope Joe can crack us a good travel tip and also maybe tell us a story or two that will make us laugh with tears. So, Joe, the floor is yours.
Thank you so much, Herman, for having me on your show. And hello to everyone watching. It's good to see all of you, and it's good to be here. Where do I start? I lived in the States. I was born there. I'm born in Texas. And then when I was just about to turn 9, my parents immigrated to Egypt. And then when I was about to turn 18, we immigrated. Well, my mom and I immigrated here. And I've been here ever since. I've been here for almost, I think, 13 years, since 2007. You can do the math. I started my comedy career here in Cape Town as well. And I've been a comedian for just over 10 years as well. It's been a lot of fun and entertaining things that have happened. I just quickly want to also mention that I apologize for the bit of a delay that is on me. I was busy trying to sort out something for my YouTube channel, and Yanni. Shout out to Yanni, who's also in the chats. Like, this guy has helped me out so much in the past 2 weeks. I mean, my internet was down. You recently had an encounter with that, and my internet, because we moved house. You've been to my house. Previous one. We moved into a new place, and it's a duplex. So upstairs there was like virtually no internet. It was like 2 megabytes per second. It was awful. And Yanni helped me out with that. We figured it out, and so now I'm up and running again and sorting out the streams to make sure it's a nice experience for not just me but also my guests. So sorry about the delay, and thank you all so much for tuning in. What else can I say about myself? I don't know. Ask a question.
Well, guys,
where can people find me? www.joeemilio.co.za. Simple, easy, everything's there. You can also get information on my YouTube channel, which Yanni has given. All my social media stuff is on my website. My YouTube channel is on my website. Bio, some video. No, the videos are all on my YouTube channel now as well. Stand-up comedy shows that I've done in the past. That's the easiest way.
Yeah. Thank you, Joe. Joe, now, you, as you stated earlier, you moved while you were still young, living in Egypt for a while. But you've been living there, I think you said back then it was 9 years, if I'm correct, that you stayed in Egypt, around, if I did my mathematics correctly. Joe, we talked about it a bit earlier today on WhatsApp. Out of your experience, first of all, let's start with the tomb digging and the excavation of the pharaohs and take a cruise down the Nile. Tell us about the food.
The food. You have an obsession with food, man.
I love that's what I ended up. Joe, sorry, I'm getting a feedback. Guys in the do you guys have a feedback on the in the chat? Does anybody have a feedback?
I'm not hearing a feedback. Just so you know.
Okay, I just want to make sure there's no feedback on the stream. Okay, sorry, Joe. Yeah, I do have an obsession with food because for me, food is the people, and the people is the food. you know. So do tell us a little bit about the food, and while we're cruising down the Nile tonight.
Food in Egypt, I guess you would call it Mediterranean food. It's mainly it's a mix of a lot of different influences from different cultures and different countries. Mainly Turkish. And there's a lot of Turkish food there. There's a lot of obviously Egyptian itself food that they've created, but they take a lot of influence from the Turkish food as well. So it's a lot of it's how do I say? I should have. I'm trying to remember the names. Like I'll give you one example. This one is actually an Egyptian dish. So it's much like biltong here in South Africa, where that's like a local thing. It's a South African thing. In Egypt, they have something called molokhia, which is a very Egyptian dish. And it's the herb. It's a herb. It's a plant, which looks kind of like a soup. It's I don't like it, but apparently it's like I don't know. People who try it, like they love it, and I don't understand why. But the ingredients are molokhia, which is this herb, and then you have rice, and then you can add chicken or beef, and then you basically drizzle the molokhia on top of that, and you can also add either raw onions or fried onions on top of that. But now the thing is with that is some people eat either like with a little bit of molokhia on top, or they'll drown it, like where it's like everything's just swimming in the molokhia.
You say when you say drown it, well, it's like the tomato relish that we make in South Africa with our pap.
Yeah.
You don't put a little bit. You put tomato relish on top of your pap.
Yeah, exactly. And for me, I never liked it. It's a weird taste. I'm not saying it's a bad taste. Look, it's a very popular dish in Egypt. It's like their signature dish there. They love the stuff. And my cousin from the States once came over, and he loved it. My mom made it for some of my South African friends. They loved it. So I don't know. It's you either like it or you don't. I don't.
Well,
but
it's similar to eating dog in Vietnam. Either you like it or you don't like it.
I can't believe you just admitted that you ate dog.
No. Hang on. I can categorically deny that I did not eat dog in Vietnam, although it was on the menu. There is a video in my section where I ate something. You guys can go and decide if it was dog, bird, chicken, vegetable, or what. But that's up to you guys to decide.
I'm seeing in the comments, Gentle Inflatables, saying that we had shish kebab when we were in Egypt. It's great to know that you guys went to Egypt. Molokhia, great attempt at spelling. I don't know the correct way of spelling it, but that's a great attempt. Is yummy. See, so there you go, firsthand. Yeah. Some people like it, some people don't. Look, there's a lot of great food in Egypt in terms of like street. There's something called tamaya, which it's amazing. Like it's also made from a plant of some sort, and then you cover it in like flour and stuff like that, and then you fry it.
Yeah.
And you think it's maybe going to taste like a zucchini or a cucumber. It tastes like potato. It tastes like you're eating potato chips, and it's so good. Like it's and for those of you that have gone to that, what's that food place here in South Africa? I think it's called falafel or something, and they have tamaya on their menu. It's not the same thing.
Joe, have you ever eaten cassava?
That sounds familiar.
Cassava. It's a root of the cassava plant, and if it's cooked, you can cook it and eat it like it tastes like potato for some people. But yeah, it sounds similar to, as you say, it's a plant that it sounds. For those who have eaten cassava, this would be similar to eating cassava.
Yeah.
So just to I'm trying to get a bit of a taste reference for the guys in South Africa or who has traveled East Africa. It won't be strange if I see it, and it probably is cassava. I'm not so sure, but yeah.
I also want to share with you my favorite Egyptian dish. So there's a lot, man. They do a lot with eggplants. They do a lot with what they call grape leaves, and they do the zucchini. Even they have this dish where they They hollow out the zucchini and then they put like rice and meat inside with some tomato sauce. It's really good. They're with the grape leaves. They'll wrap the grape leaves in rice or mince. They also eat that. Eggplant. There's many different variations of how they cook eggplants with a lot of different stuff. But there's two things that I really enjoyed in Egypt, and I loved eating it. Tameh is one of them. So there's actually three things. But the other thing is it's another street food. It's called koshari. And that, it's going to sound, for anybody that is like against carbs, it's your worst nightmare. But because these are the ingredients, all right? It's rice, pasta, egg. What's it? It's this type of, it's not beans, but it's a big bean like this. It's a type of bean. Also raw or fried onions. And now what makes the koshari, those ingredients, that's like the fluff, if I can put it that way. What makes the dish is the sauce. It looks like it's a tomato sauce, and it does have tomato in it, but it's the spices. The spices, and it's a specific type of spices that they add, and it gives the whole dish like a whole nother experience to it, and it tastes so good because it almost, you don't have to have meat with it. You just eat it. And
no
it
meat.
Tastes so good.
Hang on. No. We are
lentils is also part of the ingredients.
Lentil. I can understand the vegetable part, but no meat. That is against South African.
You can. You can. I mean, if you wanted to, you probably could just add, but you won't find a vendor or a street guy selling it with meat. You either, because it's all the sauce. So the sauce, you can have it original or you can have it spicy, and they know how to make it like really hot. So it's that one. I loved that one when I was in Egypt. I used to eat that all the time. And then, like I mentioned, tameh, and then there's also something called fatir. So anyone that is on their computer right now, Google Egyptian pizza. That's basically what it is. Yeah. So fatir. Usually it's like a pizza, but it's their own version of a pizza, and it's just it's like what's that paste? It's like pastry, and then they put whatever they want on the pastry, like just like a pizza, cheese and whatever ingredients, blah blah blah. And they put it in the oven, they take it out and they eat it. But there's a version of fatir that I loved, which was they put sugar icing on it or honey, and sometimes cinnamon, and then it was like a dessert pizza, so to speak, but it was talking about this making me miss that food.
Well, that's the thing, Joe, that's why we are here tonight, is to talk about these things that make a country special. I'm always on about the food. When we met in Cape Town, what the first thing I did is I went and bought meat, and we had a braai. That's what makes us unique, in South Africa. I think it's the braai. It's the meat. It's the way but that also for me is how we interact. Food is not just a language of love. It is a language of social coherence. And I think if our political leaders in the world can just sit around a good plate of proper food, I think it will solve a lot of problems. Because if I'm right, that is how it is done in the Middle East. You go and you sit down and you eat and you drink tea. And I've seen it in Asia as well. You don't conclude business in a boardroom. You conclude business around the food table.
Yes.
Maybe we should send our politicians some food.
Maybe, but you're right about that. There's a lot of areas in Egypt where you would see, there's not a lot of bars for anybody that's asking. Like, I was a teenager when I was there. It was very hard to drink. But there's like these restaurants and stuff like that you always see, like those businesses, like you said, with tea. And that's another thing. Egyptians are very big on their tea. I actually love tea myself. And for some reason, South African thinks it's weird, or some South Africans think that it's weird that I drink tea black. Like I don't add any milk. But I grew up with that in Egypt. Like in Egypt, you can, but most of them drink tea just black. And there's so many different variations, like there's lemon tea, green tea, that tea, this from that herb, from this herb. They are tea fanatics over there. And tea goes really well with shisha. And for those of you who don't know what shisha is, that's hubbly bubbly.
Yeah, hookah, shisha.
Sorry.
Yeah, different. Yeah, hubbly bubbly, hookah, shisha. I think I haven't been to a place in the world where it doesn't have a different name, So I think it depends on where you are in the world. Quite interesting, as you said, with tea. I remember when we were in Marseille, we were at the hotel, and we asked the guy at the reception, where can we go? And he said, no, you shouldn't go in about a block from the hotel. Don't go into that area. That's the African Quarter. And I'm like, dude, either you didn't read what it says on our passport. It says Afrique du Sud. It's South African. So we went into the African Quarter, and being polite, I walked to this. We went to this tea house, and I asked them. I said, guys, my wife wants to take some pictures, and they said, one rule: you are going to sit down, and you are going to drink tea with us. And I did the whole playing chess, drinking tea ceremony with them, and they said to my wife, enjoy yourself. And we went back to the hotel, and this guy was like, were you guys in the African Quarter? He was like, yeah, we are African. We are from Africa. He's like, no, you crazy. You can't. And I'm like, dude, nothing happened to us, It is so quite interesting. And once again, tea, the rituals of tea is amazing. Wherever you travel in India, it is this milky, cinnamon, spicy tea called chai. A lot of people... it's so interesting. I don't know about you, Joe, but when you go to like these coffee vendors, and you remember back then, I don't see them anymore. It says chai. I think one of the big companies did it. It was they were selling coffee, and everybody was thinking coffee was called chai in some country. It's not. It's tea in India. And I think so many words are distorted with food and tea, but the ceremony behind it is so amazing. Yeah. I've been ranting on here, Joe, and leaving you in the cold there.
No, actually, if you don't mind, I wanted to comment on what you said about the tea thing. That culture exists throughout Egypt. So, like, if you go to, I remember I've taken. So my dad did a lot of traveling in his job, and he had to accommodate and entertain some of his business partners and business, clients and stuff like that. So I got to, and what you do is when someone from Europe comes over, you're like, they want to see the pyramids, they want to see all the hot spots in Egypt. So there's something called Khan Khalili, which is the biggest market in Egypt, and you would go there, and there's like a lot of stuff that you can buy: spices, jewelry, perfume is a big thing. Bags, all these stuff that you can get at somewhat decent prices, but obviously they'll haggle you, and you gotta be good with your negotiation skills. But what they do is, like, I remember once we went to a perfume place, and the guy was like, "Do you want some tea? Do you want some tea? Tea." And that's just what they do. You walk into a place, they're like, "Hey, you want some tea?" And what I also love about the Egyptian culture is very, 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 very extremely great at hospitality. Like, I remember once I went with a woman I was dating. I went to go visit my father when he was still there 3 years after moving to South Africa. And when I went there, everybody wanted to go, and they all knew she was from South Africa and all that stuff. So I went obviously to friends and family, introducing her to them. And Egyptians can eat, like, you have no idea. Like, they pull out the whole spread, anything, and it's like this whole buffet-like thing on a huge table of like maybe a 2-meter long table of just all the little Egyptian kind of finger foods. And then there's like that's just like your mains, and then there's like another 1-meter table with just dessert stuff on it. And and if you don't eat, they're very offended. Like, you cannot say no. You must eat something, because that's considered offensive in their culture. So you must eat. And Ramadan as well. I've had the pleasure of sitting down with my Muslim friends and having a Ramadan meal at Eid, and that as well. Like every single type of dish you can think of is eaten. Another weird dish though that I just thought of: pigeon.
Yeah, continue. Do continue.
So I'm just saying, like, I wanted to get your reaction on that pigeon. Have you had pigeon?
Oh, you know, for me, eating pigeon isn't funny because as a child on the farm, we would take the pellet gun and, you know, we'll find the fattest pigeon and we'll shoot it, you know, because I had a lot of our workers, kids, we were playing together and we would shoot pigeons, especially on the weekend. And then we'll just make a little fire and we'll fry it or, you know, eat it right there, you know, have some
It's
coarse
good.
salt. Usually we had like a little bag of coarse salt with us, and that's how we did it. We even make pigeon biltong. That was what we did. For a lot of people, it is strange to eat pigeon, but it's actually a very, very lovely meat
It
to
is.
eat,
It is. I
especially
know
on a
some people are going to be so weirded out by that because, like, oh, pigeon, what the hell?
yeah,
But no, it's actually, I wouldn't call it a delicacy there. It's definitely not, but it
yeah,
is a dish that they eat.
yeah.
So, yeah.
I just saw a very, very strange thing. I haven't been using Streamlabs for like 100 streams, and suddenly Streamlabs probably is popped up. It's somewhere somehow in the background still monitoring my streams, which is not cool. I do not like it, but unfortunately I have to. I think that's weird. I have to remove that as a moderator from my stream. Yeah, thanks, Yanni. Yanni is still in the background checking both of our internet connections. Guys, I just want to say thank you again to Yanni, our tech guru on the other side. He's really doing an amazing job for trying to help both Joe, and he's been trying to give me some tips how to sort this thing out. But thanks, Yanni. So yeah, guys, yeah. Oh, I was sort of.
People
I'll take.
don't seem impressed with our pigeon story there.
Yeah, it's well. It depends on
Don't
who
knock
you
it till
are.
you try it.
Yeah, well, look, I've eaten a lot of strange meat. There's two things I will not eat, and I haven't eaten is rat on a stick in Malawi, and I will not eat dog, and I haven't eaten dog yet, and I will not. So,
Yeah, I
goat
agree with that.
and all that, I've tasted that and tried that, but I will stick to my beef fillet and some really nice pork and chicken.
Yeah.
Joe, tell me, the one thing I really want to know from you is we've covered food now. Um, Tourism, because you live there, you know, what are the major tourist traps that, if, for instance, if I go to Egypt, what are the, because every country, we know in South Africa, they're probably going to rob you. We know that going to one of the curio markets, the price they give you is 10 times the price that it's really cost. What are the tourist traps that we will find in Egypt?
Um, okay, so first let me put a bit of a disclaimer. I haven't been to Egypt in about 7 years. I lived there for a very long time, and luckily, like I mentioned earlier, I was always with my dad when he was entertaining his clients and stuff like that. So I was very much in like the Egyptian Museum a lot. I was in the I visited the pyramids a lot. I even did a cruise when I mentioned my ex-girlfriend. When we were there, I did a cruise on the River Nile, which was very nice. And I think, so I will take that experience when I was with my girlfriend, because I was slightly older, and we were on our own when we did that trip, when we went on the River Nile. And there are, again, well, I don't want it to sound like this is happening now. So when I was there, the only pitfalls you have to worry about really is much like when you travel to any country. There are con artists, there are pickpocketers, there are unsavory people that will want to kidnap you. I'm not saying that is a common thing in Egypt. I'm just saying that does exist. So these are things like, you know, when you get off a plane and you're in Egypt, don't just chat to anyone. like kind of try and have everything covered. Like, okay, cool, I get off the plane, I need to go to this shuttle, go into that shuttle and leave and stuff like that. Keep your belongings close. Robbery and stuff like that isn't common in Egypt, at least when I was there. They got very strict laws there, and you get into trouble. And yeah, but it happens. And the thing is, like, if you're in Khan Khalili, for example, and you shop around there, someone can quickly bump you, pickpocket your stuff. So you still need to, make sure, like for women who carry their purse on their shoulder, and it has a zip, close that zip. If men, for example, who have wallets in their pockets, try not to keep your wallets in your back pocket, especially when you're in a very high touristic area. So any tips like that you normally see when you travel, do that. Other than that, be very good with your negotiation skills. If you feel that something isn't worth a price, you can negotiate. Even though the guy's going to try and be like, no, come on. But they do that like everywhere in the world. Like if they know that you're not from here or from the area, they will, like for me, some people like the American accent, but when I go to a touristic place, the American accent is my curse, because they hear the American accent and they think I have dollars, which I don't. So then they inflate the price. So then you got to negotiate. I would recommend that everybody, when they travel to Egypt, if they do, have a guide at some spots. Have you been in Springs, Jeremy? Same. What?
It seems like we've awakened some of the let's say we found the comedian bone in some of our people who's watching the live stream tonight.
I don't get the reference. I'm going to be honest. I don't
Springs,
get it.
okay, hang on. I'll explain. Springs is what's the most dodgiest part of Cape Town? If I may ask you that, you would suggest.
I don't know. I hear.
Okay, hang on. I'll explain it off screen to you. Might offend a lot of people.
Okay.
Right, so guys, he's been living in South Africa for 13 years and he doesn't know where Brakpan Springs and Danville is.
Well, you say Brakpan, I know where that is.
Yeah, well, Springs and Brakpan is quite yeah. Let's not travel down that road. Let's continue our cruise on the Nile.
Yeah, so the pitfalls are similar to, like, again, like it's not at the time when I was there, it wasn't a very crime-ridden country, if I can put it that way. Yes, crime happened. Obviously, crime happens everywhere. But for the most part, they respect you. They enjoy you. They love tourists, obviously, because they know they're going to make money off of you. But the last time and the most recent thing I heard about Egypt and its safety, and Gentle Inflatables might correct me here, because I don't know when the last time she was in Egypt, or he. But I had a friend, Nick, who went to Egypt in 2010, I believe. He went. No, not 2010. 2018. Yes, 2018. He went to Egypt for about 2 weeks. And I asked him, because now it's South Africans going over there. I was like, what's it like? I told him to be careful. I said, look out for the same things I'm telling you. And then apparently they had to have a police escort everywhere they went. I think at the time there was some tensions because of the revolution and stuff. There's still some of the, it wasn't completely, I'm not saying it was recent after the revolution, but for some reason now with foreigners, the government's very protective of them. So they had to have a police detail with them wherever they went. But mind you, Nick wasn't going as a average tourist. He was going because he was competing in the dodgeball tournaments. I know that's very random.
But still.
And it was a whole team. It was a whole team of them in South Africa. So obviously they had to tell the government that was happening. The organization, the dodgeball organization, the government knew that this big event was happening. So obviously the government wanted to make sure that they were safe. So I think that may have been a special case, but that's what he told me they did with them.
Joe, it is unfortunately because in any country, if you sport teams or country, and guys, take note of this. It happened to us in Brazil when we were there for the Caresta um, conference. Also, we were constantly under police surveillance, and especially we were actually the what Polizei de Militar Especial, something like that, watched over us. And those are the guys who hunt the drug lords. So yeah, guys, when you hear of, I think Joe, we can safely say when a country is looking after sports teams and high-ranking visitors with their police force, it means something is wrong. And you, as a normal tourist who just gets off the aircraft or airplane, should also watch your back. Don't go into dodgy areas. It doesn't sound dissimilar to most of the countries we've been to. India,
Yeah.
it's the same. Brazil is currently most of these countries. And we hope and pray that a country like Egypt, who has to offer so much for us in sense of historical value. Now, Joe, historical value wise, if you would suggest three gems, let me put it, hidden gems that you can remember as a kid, places you can suggest to South Africans or fellow travelers that they can go to if it's safe today. Let's say safe. Uh, that's out of the tourist area, not just the Valley of the Kings or the pyramids. Yeah, it's all good. Cruise down the Nile. But sometimes just those hidden gems. Can you give us two or three places you would suggest?
Geez, that's a really good question. And the thing is, like, I always went to the popular ones. I didn't go to Egypt is a very big place. Like, it's a very, very big place. You
No, well, South
have,
Africa is big.
yeah, but I mean, the thing is with Egypt, right?
Oh,
Unlike, well, I guess South Africa is also the same in that regard. But remember, Egypt doesn't have a lot of green. It's a big city, then sand. Like, you're gonna see sand for kilometers and kilometers and kilometers between cities and stuff like that.
it sounds like
So
Dubai.
yeah, well, yeah, it's very similar. And so, having said that, when you go to a city, there are hidden gems, obviously, in that city. But remember, I was a teenager, and like I said, I only was really with my dad when he was showing clients around, and we always went to the top stuff. So we went to we went to the Egyptian Museum, we went to the pyramids. When I was in doing the River Nile, which actually I think that could constitute a hidden gem, because when you do a cruise, there's many different cruises that you can do on the River Nile. There's the short one, which you do for like 6 hours or whatever, and you take a small boat and you go on the River Nile. That's not fun. Don't waste your time with that. I'm talking about a proper, like, 6-day on the River Nile, jumping from temple to temple to temple. That's something not a lot of people get to see. Yeah, you go to like one temple. Like in Luxor, there's like the biggest temple there is in Egypt at the moment. And a lot of tourists they just go to Luxor, and then they go to that big temple, and then they fly over to Cairo and they go see the pyramids, and then they'll go to Alexandria, or they'll go to Sharm el-Sheikh. So when you do a River Nile cruise in Egypt, I think that is worth your money, because you are jumping between temples on the River Nile that not a lot of people see. And what's fascinating about that is that if you start in the north, right, and you start looking at the hieroglyphs, so you look at the one temple, the guide will tell you, take notes of these hieroglyphs, because as we go south towards Luxor, you'll notice that they'll change. So because of the distances at that time, it's almost like now we have different types of drawings and different types of art and different types, like people use different brush strokes and they use different mediums. It's the same concept. So one artist or hieroglyph in the north would depict a pharaoh a certain way, but in the south, the same pharaoh would be drawn maybe with a bigger tummy, to illustrate that pharaoh was actually. some say that, oh, it's an insult. So they don't know. They don't know if the pharaoh really was fat, or if maybe the people in Luxor just didn't like the pharaoh and were trying to mock him. So that was fascinating.
Fat. He just became fat from eating too much food and sitting on his throne all day doing nothing.
Yeah,
I think it probably became a bit of a problem with a fat tummy. How do you mummify a fat person? How do you do it? You don't know. Very slowly and piece by piece.
Yeah, so I mean that part was interesting. That's something I didn't even know about until I went on that cruise, and I had been there for so many years. And then remember, I did that cruise after I left. So that was fascinating to me. There's places, I would say, in terms of maybe a hidden gem, there's places like Alexandria. So people go to Alexandria because there's a lot of Roman influence in Alexandria, and what the Romans did to the Egyptians was horrible in the sense that they tried to erase Egyptian history by basically they would paint over the hieroglyphs and the stories and all that stuff, and paint over it like their gods and stuff like that, the Roman gods and stuff. And you see remnants of that. But what's nice, if you go outside just a little bit of Alexandria, you'll see some amazing beaches, beautiful beaches to hang out, a lot of resorts and stuff like that in that area. Sharm el-Sheikh, I think for an international crowd, so people in South Africa, someone asking like, hey, I want to go to a nice beach in Egypt, I would recommend Sharm el-Sheikh. And I guarantee a lot of people wouldn't have heard of it. Because if you're in Egypt, you'll hear about it. If you're near the Mediterranean, you'll hear about it. Europeans love Sharm el-Sheikh. And it is one of the most beautiful beach places to go to. It's, if I can explain it, like, so if my hand is Egypt, right? Which is usually, Egypt's got a very square kind of shape, right? But then, sorry, it would be over here. There's a bit of a V that happens here as you go over to like the United Emirates and all that stuff. There's a bit of a V, which is still part of Egypt. And then here is like the Red Sea. Okay. So that V, at the very tip of that V, is Sharm el-Sheikh. It's in the Red Sea.
So it's very close to the Suez Canal, the beginning of the Suez Canal.
You have to pass the Suez Canal too.
Okay.
And even actually, now that you mentioned the Suez Canal, now my memory's coming back. Suez Canal, that's also something. You go 2 hours away from Suez Canal, you get a town called Ain Sokhna, which is hot eye in English. And my parents had a holiday home there. My dad's work was actually in Ain Sokhna. So he stayed at that place quite often. And again, resorts all along the beach, all along there, and beautiful. And if you want like quiet, like if you're someone that really just wants to get away, you want to go somewhere else, but you don't want a lot of people, you really just want time to relax and enjoy the beach and stuff like that, I guarantee like that's what I would recommend. That in a way is a hidden gem. Yes. So
whenever our fellow South Africans want to travel to Egypt, guys, just hit Joe with an email. You know what the thing is, Joe, because if you have to jog your memory actually constantly to remember these places. As you said earlier, I had mentioned the Swiss Canal, and it jogged a memory for you. And this won't be just one conversation we'll have. Guys, if you experience lag on the channel, it is farm internet. We actually found out what was happening. It is guys who are using illegal broadcast systems in our area in Brits, and they would interfere and broadcast on the same frequencies as our internet service provider. So hopefully, if you are one of the guys who's illegally broadcasting on this frequency, I hope you get a toe ache, because you're screwing around with a lot of other people's business. That's not travel related, but I am not happy with that. Okay. Okay, let's see. Okay, joking atheist. Okay, I'm back for one extra point. Joe has to tell us off the cuff culinary joke. All right. So I think before we start with the Q&A, because it's coming to that time, Joe, you've been challenged a culinary joke off the cuff. And I've been asking for a off the cuff joke from you for a very long time. So let's see. Okay, I'll be fair. I'll be fair. I'll be fair. We're going to do the Q&A, and then we'll see if you can be a jester that jokes his way all the way to the King of the Hill. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to Farmers Travels King of the Hill competition. Tonight, we have our own comedian Joe Emilio, the court jester. Let's see if he can joke his way all the way to the king to become King of the Hill and maybe dethrone our current Queen of the Hill and current reigning Queen of the Hill, Cat with 9 lives. So, Joe, are you ready? I know the guys in the comments are ready because that's why they actually, all 12 of them have been watching. They haven't been listening to what we've been talking about Egypt. They're actually here tune in for the Q&A. Are you ready?
No.
No, ready or not?
Yeah,
here we go. Joe, your first question for tonight. Where in the world will you find the famous walking, wandering, or sailing stones? They're called either the walking, the wandering, or the sailing stones. And where in the world will you have to travel to find the famous walking or wandering or sailing stones?
I don't know. To me, those stones just sound lost. So maybe
no. Okay, let me give you it's from where you were born.
It's from where I was born.
Yeah.
Okay. So it's
the flag Texas. Behind you. It's from the country from.
Oh, you mean okay? So not specifically Texas, then, but USA.
No.
Okay.
Yeah.
Alaska.
It's actually one of the world's strangest phenomenons, and it was solved by a NASA scientist.
Death Valley National Park.
Say again.
Death Valley National Park.
You're right. Park. It's a racetrack in Death Valley National Park. I'll give you one. I'll give you a point there. Okay, I'll give you Death Valley. Very few people actually know the story about the wandering and sailing stones. Guys, if you're interested in, go read it up. It is an amazing thing that happens. It's actually stones that literally walk over racetrack, the bed of this racetrack of that lake or that dried out lake. It's amazing. Your second question, Joe. To where in the world do you need to travel to find the most acidic lake? And what is its pH?
Man, I saw a documentary on Netflix about this.
Yeah, it's quite famous.
It's not the Black Sea.
No. The most acidic lake, and what is its pH? Let me tell you this much. If you put any part of your body into that lake, you're not going to retrieve it.
Yeah.
That's how acidic it is.
Give me a moment. Do I have time? Do I have a call friend? Can I ask the audience? Is there any of that stuff?
Let's call a friend. No.
I'm not saying I want to use it. I'm not saying I want to use it. I'm asking.
You can.
Do I have that option in this game now?
This one is more. I'm more lenient. In this one. It's for 2 points. For 2 points. Okay. Let's go for, guys. Let's see. It is a volcano. Mr. Punisher 77 is right. It's a volcano. In which country is it located?
In which country? It's like on the tip of my tongue.
It might be the Vaal River very soon.
Sorry, guys. Okay, I know. Okay, I don't know if I'm gonna say this. I know that I think there's another name, Turquoise Lake.
Okay,
I don't know. I'm gonna be honest. I don't know where it is. I knew it was a volcano. But yeah, I don't know. I don't know where it is.
Okay, you can Google, but then I'll only for the from the, it's a 2 point question, but you have I'm going to give you let me just get my stopwatch here. I'm going to give you exactly 30 seconds to Google. All right, and your time starts now.
Okay. Indonesia.
10 seconds. All right. What's the
Indonesia.
name of Why okay, that's the country. What's the name of the lake?
Oh, I can't pronounce this. Kawalin volcano.
Kawa Ijen Lake. What's the
Yeah, that
pH
one.
level? What's the pH level? 5.
Less than 0.3.
Yeah, less than 0.3 and overall it's accepted as 0.5. All right, I'll give you 1 point there because of your Google skills. You did it in 15 seconds,
No,
which
Wikipedia is
is not
awesome.
bad. Except if you use Siri. If you cheated with Siri.
No, I didn't. I didn't.
Like Jim does. He cheats with Siri. All right. Now your lifeline for Googling is over. That's one lifeline used up. Okay, your third question for 1 point. On which island was the famous movie The Beach filmed? On
Yeah.
which island was the movie The Beach filmed? And guys, while he's thinking, I'm giving him fair time. I was very privileged to be standing on that island. I visited, me and my wife visited that island
I love that
in
movie.
2009, I think, or 2008. We were there. Yeah, hit
But
it.
just to be clear, right? If I'm not
Uh,
mistaken, um, the movie was filmed there, but
yeah.
the location in the movie is never disclosed about the beach. But I don't think in real life.
The beach, no, the beach, the scenes that were shot in the
Yeah.
film of the beach, those that was there. But the jungle locations were done on other in other locations. Those
Yes.
weren't
Yes.
disclosed. But the physical, the part where they were sitting on the beach and doing the whole the beach scenes, those were shot on this island. The rest, where they did like that waterfall scene, those were undisclosed locations because they don't want tourists to go to those locations.
Okay. Thailand. I know it's one of the Thai islands.
Okay,
I know that.
I'm going to ban one of our viewers tonight if they continue getting answers.
No. I knew that the island. I knew it was because there's that mountain that you see in the one scene. That was the
Yeah,
same mountain you see in James Bond movie
yeah,
Tomorrow Never Dies.
yeah, but
And I
it's
knew
not
that.
James Bond. It's not James Bond Island.
No, it's not that. I know that. Um, so I know it's in that region.
All
But
right,
yeah, I'll be
you
fair.
can use your answers from the audience. Let's ask the audience, and us.
How many questions do I have left?
You have one left. You can take
Okay.
an answer. Ask your audience. Ask
Okay,
your
I'll ask the
audience.
audience. I'll ask the audience.
All right.
Okay, audience. I'll go with the joking atheist. Ko Pi Li.
Lay.
Lei.
Okay, it's pronounced Ko Pipilay.
Ko.
Pipilay, Pipidorn are two islands quite close to each other. It's the Phi Phi Islands in Thailand, south of Phuket. A very nice place. If you ever want to treat your wife, we want to go to stay away from Phuket, go to Phi Phi Islands. It is beautiful. Um, so I'll give you your point there. Let's be fair. You asked the audience. So I don't know, guys. Sheesh, somehow he's going to have to pay you guys for the answers because, gee. But I'll make him pay on the next one.
Oh boy.
Joe, in which city and country? Guys, now I'm going to ask my audience, please, no answers here. He has used his Google Lifeline. He has used his Ask the Audience Lifeline. So, guys, let's just, if you want to answer, give him a wrong answer. Yeah, let's make it a bit more difficult for him.
I
In
still have to
which
call a friend
country?
though.
Okay, in which city and country will you find the Pink Panther and Inspector Clouseau? I'm going to repeat
Oh
that
man,
question for you again.
this
In
is a
which
trick
city
question.
and country will you find the Pink Panther and Inspector Clouseau?
That's a trick question, isn't it?
No, it's not. Haven't you
Because
watched Pink Panther?
yes, but that's the thing. Like, people will assume it's Paris, France, but I have a feeling it's not that.
Okay, you're right. It is
Am
Paris,
I?
France. Yes,
Oh, okay.
Paris, France.
Well, I actually did that on my own.
I'll give you your two. I'll give you your two. I'll give you your two points there. All right, let's do a final tally here. 1, 2. Okay, let me just go back. 3, 4. 4 out of 6. But you're not in the clear yet.
Okay.
You're not in the clear yet. No, I'm just joking with you. 4 out of 6, Joe. Thanks for playing King of the Hill.
No.
The nice thing about this is I'm trying to ask questions, from all spectrums, in where people, so that but I am going to have to start asking my fellow the guys who have been contestants to help me come up with a question. So, Joe, if you ever think of a no, Stevie, it's not
I
Urania.
saw that.
Jeez, I don't even think Inspector Clouseau would, for the love of him, find Urania. This is what I love about the viewers. They can come up with the Durban. Good grief. Yeah, that's what I love about the viewers. Is their participation in this channel is amazing, and quite interesting. A lot of the viewers here have been travelers themselves. So that's the nice thing, Joe. And that's why I have my channel on this side is to get these guys, and hopefully I'll get Gentle Inflatables on soon. A Cat has been on, and if you ever want to talk to a Cat about South American traveling, guys, please talk to her. Her knowledge of South America is amazing. Yanni himself have been quite a traveler. So, Joe, before we end the stream, and we all nod off to bed and mummify ourselves in the remains of our enclosed enclaves of nice, soft, duck down linen. What would you say to our fellow travelers out there for when the lockdown is lifted?
Be safe, be kind to one another, and I'll see you at the next one. No,
that's your ending. No,
yeah, no.
That's your ending. That's not fair. I didn't say yet you can go.
No, I just thought that'd be funny. But yeah, be safe. Just do your research. That's also important. I think, like, when people travel, especially nowadays with tech and all the innovations that try and protect you, there's still tech that doesn't protect you. And what's this?
I see.
Which
okay.
place?
From 1940
6 meter long window.
Okay, this is a question. Stevie. Okay, give a which place?
Email the question, Stevie. Email them.
Okay, email is, guys, if you have questions that I think we should ask our contestants. Sorry, Joe, I'm interrupting you. Yeah, please send it to burki.travels@gmail. Sorry, guys, my typing is burki.travels@gmail.com. Please, guys, hit it to burki.travels@gmail.com if you think there's questions you think I should ask our fellow contestants. If it's a good question, I'm going to keep it for the finals. You guys must just remember, Germ is being automatically entered into this round's finals because for him, his luck was that Eskom bombed out on him and he couldn't join the live stream. I think he was just lying a little bit. And he still owes Cat a mug. If he ever watches the stream tonight, he owes Cat a mug. He promised he'll give the winner of the previous round a mug. So
Yeah,
remind him of that
I will.
one. Joe, final words before we close in closing of the stream, and saying good night to everybody.
I'm gonna be honest. I don't actually want to leave. If I'm completely honest, like I'm enjoying this conversation. But
Yeah.
yeah. Uh, Final words is just again do your research when you come to travel to a country. I always say to people, like, if you can find a place where you can go to that a friend or is already there, or a family member, that's always best, because they know the lay of the land and they know how to take care of you. But obviously, no one has family everywhere in the world. So just do your research, speak to make sure you get a good travel agent. Spend that little bit of extra money for a good travel agent, because a lot of them will send you pamphlets and stuff and information about what to avoid, what to be careful of. And if there's a question, if there's something you're not sure of, like, for example, oh, does my hotel have Wi-Fi? And you go on the website and there's no mention of it. Email the hotel. Trust me.
Yeah.
These places put up everything, and you might go there and there's no Wi-Fi, and then you're like pissed off because you thought there would be Wi-Fi. But every country is different. Some places you go to, it's impossible to have Wi-Fi, and unfortunately, with some of these places as well, they don't think to tell their guests that before they arrive. It's not a fault on them per se. They just don't think about it, because in their area where they live, that's normal. So they think that everybody just knows. So it's not a fault on them. So that's why I say ask questions. Make sure that you are going to be safe, escorted to some degree, like, get a shuttle if that's a possibility when you travel. Get a shuttle to your hotel from the airport, that kind of stuff. That's what I mean by escorted. And don't be afraid, again, to ask questions with your info desk people, like at the hotel and stuff. Ask them questions. Where can I go here? Where can I go there? Is this okay to do this, and stuff like that? There's no such thing as a stupid question when you are traveling. And that's the best advice I can give to anyone. And also, finally, when it comes to food in a different place, yes, some of it might seem weird, and I know that a lot of us have our limitations. Like, I would never try dog either, but I would try other things. I would. So, when in Rome, that thing. Yeah.
On a final from Mr. Punisher 77, he says, "Here's a tip: don't eat yellow snow."
That's a good tip. That's a very good tip. Yeah.
Don't eat yellow snow. Yeah.
Punisher, I'm actually going to use that as my culinary joke. So there's my culinary joke. Don't eat white snow.
Nice one. You nailed it there, Joe. Guys, Joe, please stay on the line while I'm going to do the ending. Guys, thank you from my side for joining tonight on Farmers Travels. Somebody asked if I can give you a lineup on what's coming. Guys, it's difficult for me. I'm trying to get a few of South Africa's famous travel writers, like Johan Bacchus. I'm trying to get him on. I'm trying to get Dana's name on guys who have extensive travel knowledge. I'm trying to get Karin Duplessis, journalist, on. But it seems like these guys, and I understand if they are bound by their publishers to not just go onto any social media. I did try to get Flight Center, somebody from Flight Center, to talk to us on the channel about what do they expect. Unfortunately, they had to decline because of the current situation and negotiations with the government, which we understand. Guys, once again, if you want to book a flight ticket, book a holiday, please support companies. I know people are against franchises, but Flight Center, I have family that works at Flight Center. Things are not going well. She advised me, or she told me that, not advised, she told me that they only sold like 3 flight tickets for a whole month, where that's usually what they did in like an hour at their branch. So it's not going too well with our travel agencies. Hopefully, from this month, when we go back to level 1, international travel will be open. So, guys, once again, my plea to everybody out there, I just want to do this, and then Joe, just move up a little bit for me to the other side. Thank you. I'm just, guys, go out this weekend if you have the money and if it's possible for you. Please go to support your local restaurants, support your local B&Bs. Go out to guest houses, even if you just go and have a breakfast there. Please, guys, these guys are in serious need of our support wherever we can. Also, support our local, local comedian who has lost his income due to some people thinking I think, in my personal opinion, funny to get him kicked off of a gig. So, guys, whenever you are on Joe's channel, hit the subscribe button, hit the join button, and become a patron of his channel. And also, then from my side, guys, I know most of you have Zapper. I still have to pay for a few things to keep my channel running. So please, guys, be nice. Hit that Zapper button for me, just be above Joe's head. Yeah, thanks, Joe. Guys, we are now in a time where I think we should all each support each other. Joe, you know you have my support. And thank you for support, Joe. Yeah. Doing the walk of the Egyptian. Thank you, Joe.
I'm actually trying to do like a hand model, but it's not working out because I can't figure this thing out. There we go. And then no, there. Wait, there. Here we go.
Thanks.
That's what I wanted to do.
Burki.travels@gmail does not appear to be a valid email address. It is Burki. Let me just make sure quickly, guys, before I end the stream. That's not going to be funny if my own email address doesn't work, because Burki.travels. And actually, my Facebook account that I wanted to open on Burki.travels was for some reason locked, and I can't open it. It is Burki.travels. Let me just make sure. Yeah, Burki.travels@gmail.com. Yeah, it is open. Yeah, sorry, Joe.
I do want to say one thing though. Gentle Inflatables, I think, commented earlier about the traffic in Egypt. You must have me back to talk about that.
Yeah, we are going to, because I want to talk also. I think we should do a combination stream with you, Yanni, and me to talk about traffic in the different locations where we have traveled, because Yanni has seen some horrendous traffic in his life. I think let's do a traffic stream next
Nothing
week.
will beat Egypt. Nothing will beat Egypt. Nothing.
No ways, bro. India, Delhi. All right, we're going. Okay, let's get our facts straight. Yanni, you are on. This is guys. Next week it will not be a quiz. Let's see who is wrong and who's right. We're going to do our research. Okay, all right. We're going to go head on to talk about traffic, and let's call it. I'll get it. How does Tuesday night sound to you?
I'll confirm with you off stream.
Okay, we confirm, and then let's see if we can get some others to talk about their traffic experiences in other countries. Guys, I'm gonna say good night. Let me just get my ending here tonight. It will work, not like last time. Good night, everybody. Keep well, keep safe, look after yourself, and please support your local companies in your city, in your town, and at your restaurant, and hit that zapper. I have to do it with my stompy, and become a patron of Joe's channel. Guys, good night, goodbye. Let's see each other next week again.